into something kind of wild.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right, so imagine this, a truck, a fully loaded one.
Like multi-ton.
Yeah, exactly. Huge thing just rolling right over a person.
Oh, wow.
And get this, they're totally fine, like walk away, no problem.
Really?
Yeah, that sounds impossible, right?
Yeah, like straight out of a movie or something.
But that's what we're looking at today, the world of Rolligon tires.
Rolligon tires, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, well, get ready to have your mind blown, because these things are truly something else.
Well, now I'm definitely intrigued. So let's dive in then. What makes these Rolligon tires so special? What's the secret sauce?
Well, it all goes back to 1951, actually, with a guy named William Albee.
Okay, so we're talking like pretty old school tech here.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
True, true.
Yeah.
So this Albee guy, what was his deal?
Well, he was trying to solve a problem that a lot of people at the time thought was basically impossible.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. Impossible feats.
Yeah, kind of his whole thing was how to move really heavy stuff, like industrial equipment across really difficult terrain without, completely destroying everything.
Makes sense, especially back then when industries were really starting to push into more remote and rugged areas.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. Oil exploration, military operations, all that stuff suddenly needed to get to places that were, previously basically inaccessible.
Yeah, you can't exactly lay down asphalt in the middle of the jungle or the Arctic.
Nope. So that's where Albee comes in. He's looking at this problem and he's thinking, there's got to be a better way.
I mean, I'm picturing those old school trucks with the regular tires just sinking right into the mud or sand.
Total nightmare. And not just that, but ripping up the environment too.
Yeah.
Leaving these huge ruts and all that.
Yeah, not exactly a sustainable approach.
And that's where the Rolligon tire comes in. It's a completely different animal.
Okay, so how are they different? Spill the beans.
First off, they're designed to run at super low pressure. Like way lower than you'd expect.
Low pressure? How low are we talking?
Think like 10 times lower than what you'd find in a typical truck tire.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty wild. So what does that do? How does running on basically air make them better for off-roading?
It's all about adaptability. So because they have so little air pressure, they can basically deform and mold themselves to whatever surface they're rolling over.
Oh. So instead of fighting against the terrain, they kind of just go with the flow.
Exactly. It's like the difference between trying to walk across a snowdrift in regular boots versus snowshoes.
Okay, I get it. The snowshoes distribute your weight over a larger area so you don't sink in.
Right. Same principle here with the Rolligon tires. They flatten out and create this huge contact patch with the ground.
So it's not just about more surface area. It's about spreading that weight out.
Precisely. And that's what gives them that amazing traction. They can just glide over sand, mud, snow. You name it.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the whole rolling over a person thing? How does that work? I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around that.
Well, think about it this way. If the tire is essentially a big soft cushion and it's distributing the weight of the truck over this really wide area.
Right, right.
The pressure on any one point is going to be super low, like almost negligible.
So it's like a gentle giant. Basically, a lot of force, but spread out so carefully that it doesn't actually do any harm.
Yeah, that's the idea. Albee really was a genius when it came to understanding pressure and forces.
I mean, it's pretty counterintuitive, right? You'd think something that big and heavy would just crush anything in its path.
Yeah, but that's where the innovation comes in. He turned that assumption on its head.
So not only do these tires perform well in tough conditions, but they're also designed with safety in mind.
Absolutely. And it's not just about safety for people either. This low-impact approach is also way better for the environment.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. You're not tearing up the ground like you would with regular tires.
Exactly. And, they're also surprisingly durable, too.
Really? I mean, with that low pressure, I'd imagine they'd be prone to punctures and stuff.
You'd think so, right? But they're actually built to withstand some pretty extreme conditions.
Huh. So we've got these low-pressure tires that are gentle giants, adaptable to all sorts of terrain, environmentally friendly, and on top of that, they're tough as nails.
Yeah, pretty much. Albee really hit it out of the park with this one.
So where are these Rolligon tires being used today? Give me some examples.
Well, they're still widely used in a lot of the industries that Albee initially had in mind, like oil and gas exploration.
Ah, yeah, makes sense. You need to get heavy equipment into some pretty remote and unforgiving places for that kind of work.
Exactly. Think about places like the Arctic or the desert. These tires can handle it all without getting stuck or causing too much damage.
So they're helping to get those resources out while minimizing the impact on the environment.
Exactly. And it's not just oil and gas either. They're also a big deal in military and emergency response situations.
Yeah, Yeah, I can see that being really useful in disaster relief efforts or for getting to remote areas quickly.
Yeah, if you need to reach a place that's been hit by a natural disaster or, evacuate people from a dangerous area, these tires are invaluable.
And that gentle touch probably comes in handy too. You don't want to be causing more damage in an already chaotic situation.
True. Plus, it's also important for search and rescue operations if you need to move carefully through debris or, get close to someone who's injured.
So we're talking about a technology that can literally save lives in those kinds of situations.
And you know what else they're even used? In some pretty cool recreational vehicles.
Wait, really? Like what kind of recreational vehicles?
Well, think like extreme off-roading, those big tricked out trucks that people take out to the desert or the dunes.
Huh, interesting. So even for people who are just out there for fun and adventure, these tires can offer some advantages.
Absolutely. They
Yeah.
let you explore places that you just couldn't get to with regular tires. And, they do it in a way that's a bit more respectful of the environment.
It's like having your cake and eating it too, getting the thrill of off-roading without leaving a huge scar on the landscape.
Exactly. And that's something that's becoming more and more important these days as people become more aware of, their impact on the planet.
So it seems like these Rolligon tires are pretty much the perfect solution for off-road mobility, right?
Yeah, they're pretty amazing, but like any technology, they do have some limitations.
Oh yeah. What are those?
Well, for starters, they're not exactly street legal.
Makes sense. I mean, with that low pressure, they'd probably handle like a marshmallow on asphalt.
Yeah, pretty much. They're really designed for those soft, uneven surfaces.
So you wouldn't want to be cruising down the highway on these things?
Definitely not. Plus, they're also quite a bit more expensive than regular tires.
Yeah, I can imagine specialized technology like that probably doesn't come cheap.
And they do wear down a bit faster if you're using them on hard surfaces.
So it's really all about using the right tool for the job.
Right. These are amazing for off-roading, but not so much for your daily commute.
Makes sense. So even with those limitations, it sounds like William Albee's invention has had a pretty significant impact.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, his basic design has been refined and improved over the years, of course. But those core principles are still what make these tires so unique.
It's like a testament to the power of a truly innovative idea, something that can truly change the game.
And it's not just the tires themselves, it's the whole concept of low-pressure mobility that's really taken off.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those big agricultural vehicles with the giant low-pressure tires. They look like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Exactly. So even if you haven't heard of Rolligon specifically, chances are you've seen the influence of Albee's work somewhere.
It's like his legacy lives on in all these different applications.
So to wrap this all up, we've seen how these seemingly simple tires can do some truly incredible things.
Yeah, from safely rolling over a person to traversing some of the most extreme environments on Earth.
And it all comes down to this brilliant idea of using low pressure to achieve high adaptability.
It's a great example of how thinking outside the box and challenging conventional wisdom can lead to some really groundbreaking innovations.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder what other seemingly impossible problems are out there just waiting for someone to come along with a fresh perspective and a willingness to push the boundaries.
Yeah, who knows what the next Rolligan tire will be?
Maybe it's something we haven't even thought of yet. But if we learn anything from Aldi's story, it's to never underestimate the power of a truly innovative idea.
Well said. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for those unconventional solutions from now on.
Me too,
Mhm.
because who knows what the future holds and what amazing innovations are still to come.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole exploration so exciting.
Couldn't have said it better myself.